What's up? How y'all doing out there? I'm back. Yours truly, the one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett podcast. This is episode 137. We're going to keep it rolling. Try to get to that 200 mark, you know what I'm saying, and drop another press release. You know, every 100 episodes, we're putting out that press release. You know how I do. Um, go over a few things today. First, we're going to pull up some NBA playoff games. Then I'm going to get into last night's NFL draft. Not much to talk about. Really just go over pretty much what team picked who and whatnot. And I think I want to talk about the Elon Musk and Twitter thing. And yeah, that's that. So first thing first, all the games last night for the NBA were elimination games. Philly beat Toronto 132 to 97. We'll pull up that box score. Danny Green gave you 12 points. Tobias Harris 19 points. He's pretty much been doing his job this whole series. 33 from Joel Embiid, 25 from Tyrese Maxey, 22 from James Harden. And Maxey also had 8 assists. Harden had 15 assists. And you had 11 rebounds from Tobias Harris and 10 from Joel. And that's another thing. Tobias Harris has been doing his thing on the rebounding end too. You know, he's had a few double-double games this year. And even though he's played like a max player and you expect him to score more, I think for his role, he's been doing what he's supposed to be doing. And I think getting Doc Rivers back as his coach has helped him, you know, do that consistently. OG Anunoby gave you 5 points. You needed way more out of him. Pascal Siakam, 24. He's definitely been the steady, consistent guy in the series. 19 out of Gary Trent Jr., 18 out of Scotty Barnes, 25 out of Chris Boucher. And, of course, Fred VanVleet was out. And Tobias Harris, Matisse Thybulle didn't even really play this series because of the vaccine and whatnot. He only had one vaccination. He didn't get a second one. But Toronto's season is over. They're pretty much going to have the same team next year. I don't know what trades and moves they could really make because they don't really got no superstar. Unless Scotty Barnes unlocks into a superstar, they don't really got no superstar. OG Anunoby is going to be pretty much what he is. Pascal Siakam, he might could take a little step up, but I don't know how much. Gary Trent Jr. is good, but not consistent enough. And Scotty Barnes, we don't know what he's going to, unlock to. And for next series, Philadelphia's key is going to be James Harden going further. James Harden is the key going further. Phoenix beat New Orleans Pelicans. CP3, the point god, Chris Paul. Perfect game from him. 33 points, 14 to 14 shooting, 1 from 1 for 3, 4 for 4 from free throws. Nobody's ever had that perfect of a game and scored that many points. It probably won't ever happen again. Devin Booker came back, but he only gave you 13 points. He wasn't really the same. 22 out of Ayton, 18 out of Bridges. And, Big Perk was right. Bridges wasn't going to have no 33-point game again. So, Chris Paul had to have that 33-point game. And Ayton put up the 22. And you got 13 from one of the Cams. So, it was the point guard that came through. Brandon Ingram had a 21, 42% shooting. He missed 11 shots. He had 10 out of Valanciunas, 16 out of Herbert Jones, and 16 out of CJ McCollum. He only hit 43% of his. They hit more of their shots. They're in this game a lot more if those two hit their shots. And New Orleans Pelicans, out of all the teams that have lost in the playoffs so far, I like their future the best. They got Brandon Ingram, Valanciunas, Herbert Jones, who, if I'm not mistaken, is a rookie. You got CJ McCollum in the trade. So David Griffin did a great job on that. And he got Larry Nance Jr. out of that too. They still got Devontae Graham. He only played 5 minutes. He's probably a trade asset for next year. Herbert Jones is a rookie. He's starting in the playoffs. You know, he just put up 16 with 4 steals and 4 rebounds. That's pretty good for a rookie in the playoffs. They get Zion back, man. I mean, they're good to go, yo. And they got that Jose Alvarado kid. I mean, they're good to go. Trade Devontae Graham for something. Maybe for a draft pick. I don't know. For another player. Um, maybe another power forward or a backup small forward. I don't know. I like the Pelicans' future, and Zion should like that. If Zion ain't looking at the Pelicans right now, say Brandon Ingram, Valanciunas, Herbert Jones, C.J. McCollum, Jackson Hayes, Jose Alvarado, Larry Nance Jr., and we trade Devontae Graham for something, we got a nice squad, man. I mean, what the hell? He's just a very selfish individual. All right, let's get into Dallas beats Utah. So all the teams were elimination, and all the teams that were up for elimination got eliminated. All the teams did their job in elimination last night. You got 18 from Dorian Finney-Smith, 24 from Jalen Brunson, 24 from Luka. Even though Brunson was a negative 16, I mean they still put up 20. If 2 players put up 24, 25 apiece, and then you get an 18 and a 19 from Spencer Dinwiddie, you always got a chance of winning. That's 4 players that scored 18 or more, man. You always got a chance of winning an NBA game. You got 7 out of Maxi Kleber and 6 rebounds and 3 assists. Luka had 2 steals. Jalen Brunson had 2 steals. Spencer Dinwiddie had 2 steals. 6 steals between the 3 top scorers. Dorian Finney-Smith also gave me 10 rebounds and 5 assists. So, yeah, man, he earned his money last night. And he's really a defensive guy, and who doesn't seem to just do things out of his character. Reggie Bullock, I expected more out of him. He's a Carolina boy. I expected so much more about him. But Utah Jazz, let's talk about them. I mean, Gobert's got to go. I'm getting rid of Mike Conley. I would keep Bojan Bogdanovic and Donovan Mitchell and Jordan Clarkson. That's it. Everybody else is expendable as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Eric Pascal from the Warriors, he ain't showing much. He only played 3 minutes. That's why the Warriors moved on for him. Jordan Clarkson is one of the best bit scorers in the league. He's like the new Lou Williams right now. But Mike Conley, for what he's getting paid, he ain't giving you enough. You got 11 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds out of him. 1 block, 1 steal. I mean, ooh. You need about 10 more points. Rudy Gobert is a defensive liability. I mean, not defensive liability, offensive liability. Well, actually, he was a defensive liability in this series, and he's an offensive liability because he can't get out to those corner threes. Utah, I mean, they might have to tear it all down, man. Utah might have to. I've never seen. Can I think about this? Let me think about this. 42 years old. Have I ever seen Utah rebuild? Go in a rebuild phase. They always seem to draft well. Even after the John Stockton and Karl Malone, when they had Darren Williams and whoever they had then, you still had the same coach for a little while, and they were pretty good then. And Even when Darren Williams, they got rid of him, they never really took a major dive. I mean, I've never seen Utah take a major dive. I can't think of it ever taking a major dive. They've always been a very consistent franchise. They've always been a make the playoffs franchise. They always have. Maybe not as consistent as the Spurs were. Maybe they were like consistent as the Spurs, but a level down, like not making the playoffs. All right, let's get to these standings. So look at these standings so I can see who's playing who. It's going like the East is going to be. Oh man, so we got Phoenix and Dallas. Um, this series is going to be determined on how healthy Devin Booker is. You don't have a healthy Devin Booker, I got to go with Dallas in this series. Because even though Ayton can score, Booker can score, Chris Paul can score. Chris Paul's never really looking to score first. He did last night because he knew Booker was hurt. You couldn't really rely on Bridges to give you another 30-point game. Ayton ain't the guy you need to take you to the promised land. He's your third best at best. But when I look at Dallas, okay, without Booker, if Booker's not healthy, you got Dinwiddie, Brunson, and Luka that can all put up 25 every single night in this series. They could put up 75 just between those three or more. 75 to 80, maybe 90 points. I could see a series where a game where Luka puts up a 30, Brunson puts up 25, and whatchamacallit puts up like 20. That's 75 easy right there. And maybe Luka puts up a 40 piece and Brunson 25 and whatchamacallit 22. You don't know, man. This is going to be a tough one for Phoenix because Luka is probably first team All NBA this year. Dallas was literally a fourth seed without him having another All-Star. I mean, come on, man. He had no other legit All-Star. I mean, Brunson is good, but I don't know if he's All-Star yet. He's got to do it all season long. So that's going to be interesting. Booker is not healthy, man. Dallas wins this series. Now, we still got Memphis, and Memphis leads the series 3-2. I got Memphis finishing that series up, which I think is tonight. It's the last game tonight for the first round. I got Memphis, and if Minnesota wins this game, oh man, that could be scary. Either way, whoever Golden State plays, like this is the thing. Golden State plays Minnesota, it's a sweep. If Golden State plays Memphis, it's a dogfight. That's the thing. Whoever wins this series, that's why Memphis got to win it tonight. Memphis got to win it tonight because if they don't win it tonight, it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. And then they'll have to play a whole nother game where Warriors will just be rested even more. The Warriors will just be rested even more, which is good for them because Curry can get a little bit more rest. Make sure Draymond's still healthy, Clay. Yeah, man, because you know how the playoffs is. All right, the East, you got Miami and Philly. The key to this is James Harden. James Harden can't put up 20 and 15. We need like 25 and 10 James Harden. 25 and 10. 25 and 10 James Harden. 25 and 15. But he got to have 25. He got to average about 25 points a game. Or you need Maxey to offset it where Maxey's got to put up some 23, 25 pieces as well. You need Joel to be Joel. And that's the thing. Bam Adebayo isn't going to be able to he's a North Carolinian too. Much love to Bam. He's not going to be able to do what he wants to do. with Joel. He's not going to be able to switch. They're not going to be like Miami Heat's known for just dudes will switch and guard the next man. He's not going to be able to do that. He's going to have to stay on the bead the whole time. It's going to be a tricky series because Miami's undermatched when it comes inside, but they do got some dogs, man. They do got some dogs. James Harden is the key. James Harden is the key. Milwaukee and Boston, another good series. And Chris Middleton's hurt. So Boston has to take advantage of Chris Middleton being out. I'm not an NBA expert. Could I think of a game plan that if I'm Boston with Chris Middleton out, I'm double teaming Giannis and I'm making all the other guys. I'm making Grayson Allen, Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, and Drew Holiday. I'm making those guys have to beat me. And I don't think those guys can. When I look at Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Robert Williams, Grant Williams, Al Horford, Daniel Tice, I don't see those guys beating those. From Boston, I'm double teaming Giannis. I'm trying to make them shoot jumpers. Make them only shoot jumpers. I'm double teaming them. If he not letting him drive the basket, try to double team him. Make him kick out to somebody. Let those guys try to hit wide open shots and wide open threes. Boston could win this series. With Chris Middleton hurt, Boston could win the series. Chris Middleton probably isn't coming back for this whole series, they say. And that's the thing with sports. You can't make excuses. If somebody gets hurt, they get hurt, man. And that's part of the game. That's the nature of the game. It's the nature of the business. Look at Toronto. Toronto doesn't win their championship if Durant and, don't get hurt. But Klay Thompson, but it's the nature of the business, man. Let me get into some NFL, but before I do, don't forget that the video version of this podcast goes to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, and also I would take the video version of this podcast and I stream it live on 3 of my Twitter accounts, which is usually Twitter at Paul P Podcast. You see it up there. Then Twitter at Paul W Pickett and Twitter at Promo Palace LLC. And sometimes Twitter at Indie Castle and Twitter at My Urban Obsessions. But before we get into NFL, let's get into a word from one of our sponsors.
Joke got me addicted, ain't no coke. Let's just have a toast. Anybody want some smoke? Cause it's up, I be dizzled up. Catch me sipping with my double cup. Can't just have one, you gotta double up. You pour it, gotta watch it bubble up. I ain't gon' lie, I cannot get enough. When Callie said I need another one, gon' have you coming back for more. But go get it while it's hot, before it be sold out in your stores. That dizzle.
That's right. Dizzlebrand.com. You see that name on the hat. You see the name on the shirt. Check them out. Dizzlebrand.com. You can also buy the merch. Go to the Dizzlebrand merch store. Get the hats, the t-shirts, the hoodies. Also, if you'd like to buy your very own bottle of Dizzlebrand, mixture of agave tequila, cognac, and orange liquor mango mix, go to Dizzlebrand.com. Click on our locations, click on one of the top 3 links, and you can order your very own brand bottle of Dizzle Brand Premium Luxury Liqueur. Make sure you're 21 and over. Shipping and handling is included. And yeah, get your very own bottle of Dizzle brand, get your merch, whatever. Definitely buy the merch as well. We appreciate when people promote that Dizzle brand, and I also help Dizzle run their Facebook fan page and their Facebook profile, and the Dizzle brand TikTok as well. And Dizzle brand is also a black-owned business based out of Southern California, based out of Los Angeles area, California. And that was Mike Dizzle, as you saw in the video, holding up the Dizzle. Check him out, dizzlebrand.com. I'm getting into this NFL. We got the let me pull up Bucky Brooks pick analyst for round one, because he's got all the picks broke down. It wasn't really a splashy draft, man. I mean, I don't watch a lot of college football, but I watch these analysts, and I'm not hearing nobody say any name that's a game changer. I'm really excited to see what Kenny Pickett does. Not because he's related to me. I do have an uncle, Kenneth Pickett, in Seattle, but excited to see what Kenny Pickett does. We got the same last name, but number one, the Jacksonville Jaguars took Trayvon Walker, defensive end out of Georgia. According to Bucky Brooks, Walker's a a Swiss Army knife with the capacity to play anywhere along the line, from nose tackle to edge rusher. The Lions took Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan, defensive end, which is good. I know for him, I know it's a good thing, because it's a very exciting thing, because a lot of these dudes, when they play in a certain college and that state team, like the pro team of that state drafts them, or that city near the college, it's always a big deal, because they're always looked at as a hometown hero anyways. So Detroit Lion gets Hutchinson. Hutchinson is a blue chip prospect with A+ tools and technical skills. The Michigan standout combines his exceptional physical gifts and refined hand-to-hand combat ability, relentless effort that overwhelms blockers over time. Houston Texans at number 3 took Derek Stingley Jr., LSU defensive back. That's the thing. A lot of these the Texans don't even got a quarterback, man. What are we talking about here, man? How is this defensive back going to change in Detroit, man? I mean, I know they kind of they gave up a lot for Jared Goff to get Goff somewhat, because they gave up Stafford, but Goff isn't it, man. I mean, if Stafford couldn't win at the Lions, Goff couldn't win. These guys, some of these teams, just I don't get it. If you don't have your quarterback yet, what are we talking about here? You got a dominant defense, so what? You can't score. The Jets take Sauce Gardner, Cincinnati cornerback, at number 4. That's the thing. They got Zach Wilson last year, so they still got to see what Zach Wilson could be. So that was a good move for them, because Zach Wilson needs to be able to, the defense needs to get the ball back for him as much as possible. The Giants picked Oregon edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau, Thibodeau from the I don't know. This is another team. Giants clearly know we ain't got the correct quarterback. I don't get these teams, man. Carolina Panthers. My team. They picked Ike Aquanu from NC State, offensive tackle. I mean, to what? So Sam Darnold could have another bad season? We clearly need a quarterback. Ever since Cam Newton, we got rid of Cam Newton, and we've been nothing. We're just plummeting, man. New York Giants had another pick at 7. They picked offensive tackle this time. Oh, my bad. Yeah, offensive tackle from Alabama, Evan Neal. Um, once again, um, who's the quarterback? I mean, Saquon Barkley can't stay healthy. I don't get it. I don't get what the Giants are doing. Falcons, Drake London, wide receiver. From at number 8 from USC. I think this makes sense for them. Because they trade away Matt Ryan. I think they know that getting they got Marcus Mariota at quarterback, but I think it's like a 1-year contract, maybe 2-year. They know he's just like a stabilizer for 1 year. They'll probably not even make the playoffs with him. They lost Julio Jones 2 years ago. Calvin Ridley did what he did. Um, Yeah, they need a wide receiver. They'll probably be drafting quarterback next year because a lot of none of these quarterbacks were apparently good enough to go as high as 8. Number 9, Seahawks take Charles Cross, Mississippi State offensive tackle. Um, Once again, they have no quarterback. I mean, you can have all the offensive tackles in the world, but they don't. I don't even know they even got a running back. Like this draft is just so. Number 10, the Jets take a wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, Ohio State. Smart, man, because help Zach Wilson out. Cornerbacks. They always say cornerbacks, edge rushers, and quarterbacks are the top 3 things to go after. Quarterbacks, cornerbacks, and edge rushers, and then receivers. Number 11, the Saints take I guess it was a trade from the Commanders. They take Ohio State wide receiver another Ohio State. Wow, 2 back-to-back Ohio State receivers. Chris Olave, I guess that's how you pronounce it. And if I pronounce it wrong, excuse me, guys. But so the Saints take a receiver. I guess it's straight. We still gotta see if Jameis Winston what he can do for the Saints in one good season because he's still got Michael Thomas coming back. You got Alvin Kamara. Yeah, good move for the Saints. I'm thinking wide receiver. Detroit Lions number 12. It's the trade from the Vikings. They take Jameson Williams, Alabama, wide receiver. Good move. Good move. Definitely need a wide receiver. You definitely need a standout wide receiver because Matt Stafford's only good seasons with Detroit Lions is when he had Megatron. As soon as Megatron retired, that was it. That was it. So good move. And I'm not no NFL expert, but I watch enough NFL and I see who's got who enough to know what you know, some of these teams just they're clueless, man. They're totally clueless. And Lions, I don't know. They seem to might be doing a little bit better than back in the days. Lions have been the worst team in the NFL my whole life. So I gotta commend them. They got Aiden Hutchinson. They got a wide receiver to go with Jared Goff. Yeah, because Jared Goff isn't the worst quarterback ever. I mean, he did go to a Super Bowl with the Rams. All right, so the Eagles at 13 pick. It was a trade from the Texans. Get Jordan Davis, Georgia defensive tackle. I guess defense. Because if I'm not mistaken, the Eagles just traded for They acquired AJ Brown because see, you got these wide receivers trying to get paid. And let me talk about this real quick because somebody made a great point. Michael Irvin made a great point. Um, Devontae Adams wants to get paid, so he leaves a great quarterback in Aaron Rodgers and goes to a good quarterback in Carr so he can get paid. And they're old buddies, so there's that too. But if he doesn't perform up to this contract, then Green Bay looks like the right team, the team that was right in this whole. That's the thing. He has to perform well to kind of prove Green Bay wrong. Same thing with Tyreek Hill. Because if Tyreek Hill goes to Miami, he leaves Patrick Mahomes to go to Tua, and he doesn't perform as well as he did. He doesn't live up to this contract. Then teams are going to be like, well, damn, the Chiefs were right and Green Bay were right all along that you can't pay these receivers that amount of money because they're not going to live up to the contracts. That's the thing. When you pay these people, Stephen A. Smith brings this up all the time, man. Like, you got to live up to these contracts. So AJ Brown to the Eagles, they got their receiver. They're going to pay him $25 million a year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so them going for defense is good because they drafted the quarterback from the wide receiver from Alabama last year, and he had a pretty good year, you know. So yeah, I like what the Eagles are doing because even if Jalen Hurts isn't the man, you can at least get a competent quarterback in there to hold things down for a year and draft a quarterback. Or a year or two at least. I mean, that's the thing. Baltimore Ravens select Kyle Hamilton, Notre Dame, safety. Baltimore has always been a defensive team. Always been a defensive team. So I can't really argue with anything when they take it anybody defensive. They've always been built on defense first and running. And they got Lamar Jackson, which is pretty much a running quarterback. He's not a pocket passer quarterback. So there's that. Houston Texans from the Eagles trade via the Eagles. They check Keon Green, Texas A&M offensive lineman. Once again, they got no quarterback. Maybe they'll draft one next year because I don't think the Texans are going to do anything this year. They got rid of Deshaun Watson, and there's that. Commanders trade from the Saints. They take Jahan Dotson, Penn State wide receiver. Smart. You gotta make sure Carson Wentz has weapons if you want it to work. He's in an easier division now with just the Cowboys and the Eagles just beefed up, and you got Cowboys, Eagles, and Giants. It's really a lot easier division for him than the one he was just in. Chargers selected 17 Zion Johnson, Boston College offensive lineman. Smart. I don't know how good he is, but smart. Justin Herbert, you got to protect him. Got to make sure he's safe. And it's going to be a dogfight this year. So many good quarterbacks in the AFC. And Tennessee, the trade from the Eagles, they selected Treylon Burks, Arkansas. So they select a wide receiver. And that's the thing. That's what a lot of teams are going to do. They're not going to, if they feel like they already got their quarterback and he's a good enough quarterback, they're not going to pay their wide receiver a shit ton of money, when they could just get a wide receiver in the draft that can possibly be just as good or better. Because wide receivers, man, you can get them in the second and third round and they break out. So I think on Tennessee's move, it might be smart. We'll see. 19th pick, New Orleans Saints take Trevor Penning, Northern Iowa offensive tackle. Um, I mean, their defense has always been pretty good last couple years. Um, they gotta make sure Jameis Winston is successful. I mean, he's if Jameis Winston they can't win games this year with Michael Thomas coming back, Alvin Kamara, and the wide receiver they just drafted. What was his name? Ohio State's Chris Olave, or Olave. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You got to move on from Jameis Winston. At number 20, my not so distant cousin, Kenny Pickett. I guess I got to do like Nick Wright now from First Things First, and Kenny Pickett has to be my not so distant cousin because he's not really my cousin at all. We just got the same last name. So I think this was smart for the Steelers. I think this was a good move. I already heard about. I think Joy Taylor was wanting Kenny Pickett to fall to the Steelers. She was hoping. Um, I'm pretty sure Stephen A. Smith is happy with this. I think he's pretty. I'm pretty sure Stephen A. Smith is happy with this. Because I don't. This is the thing, man. Like the Steelers have always drafted their future quarterbacks, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they drafted Cordell Stewart. They drafted Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know that Mitchell Trubisky. I don't know it even fits the Steelers culture, man. Like, and I could be wrong because he did play for the Bears, and the Bears are or like a hard nosed, tough, gritty team like the Steelers, just never as successful and consistent. Because I was a big '85 Bears fan, and you know they pretty much were just a super dominant defense with a running game. And Steelers have always clinged on defense and running. So yeah, I'm interested to see what this does. Kenny Pickett, and he's a Pittsburgh. He's from Pittsburgh. He played for Pittsburgh, same university as Dan Marino. Broke Dan Marino's records. Broke Dan Marino's records. So I mean, Dan Marino. I mean, even though Dan Marino had the records way back then, they ain't been broken since Dan Marino. And Dan Marino was one of the greatest of all time. Even though he didn't win a Super Bowl, I mean, they never brought Dan Marino never had a legit like number one wide receiver. He just had the marks, Clayton and Duper, and then he never had a legit defense or a super dominant running back. There's a lot that Dan Marino didn't have. Kansas City Chiefs had the 21 pick from the Patriots select Trent McDuffie, Washington cornerback. Um, like I said, I don't watch a lot of college football, but based on the position, it seems smart. Seems so smart. They got to make sure that defense is a little. The defense really wasn't that great last year, not like the year before and the year before that. So the defense, yeah, they got to stat up the defense. I got a lot of faith in Patrick Mahomes that he's gonna have enough receivers over there to figure it out like Tom Brady. Enough, he still got Travis Kelce. You got Juju Smith, um, Valdez Scantlin or whatever his name is, from Green Bay. I'm thinking, and who knows? They might still get Odell Beckham or Jarvis Landry. I don't know. I don't know if they're even still free agents. I gotta check, but yeah, there's that too. Green Bay Packers at 22nd pick take Quay Walker, Georgia linebacker. Um, I'm confused. I'm confused with that. I'm so confused with that. Like this might have been the time when you had to pick a wide receiver number one for in the first round for Aaron Rodgers. He's never had a first round wide receiver selection ever. I'm confused. I'm confused. Maybe they got something up the sleeve I don't know about. Maybe this. Let me go to the front page and see if there's something that I missed. Um, I'm not really seeing no wide receivers in the first round for the Packers. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So the Buffalo Bills at 23 select a cornerback from Florida. Makes all the sense in the world. They got all they need on offense. They got all they need on offense. They shouldn't need more on offense at all. 24 pick Cowboys select Tulsa offensive tackle Tyler Smith. Um, Nothing the Cowboys ever does make sense to me anymore. Nothing makes sense to me anymore. I mean, they got rid of Mari Cooper. I don't know. It's the Cowboys. 25th pick, the Ravens from the Bills select center Tyler Linderbaum. Makes sense. Makes sense to me. They're a running team on offense. Jackson isn't really a pocket passer yet. And as he's learning to become a pocket passer, you definitely need more protection. You need guys that can help open up the run. To me, it makes sense. Ravens has always been on defense and running, and that quarterback is, but he's not a pocket passer. Quarterback, you got to keep him protected. And he was hurt last year. Jets trade for the Titans, select Jermaine Johnson, second from Florida State defensive end. Um, I mean, I really can't complain. Really can't complain. Seems like a good move. Seems like a good move for the Jets. I mean, the Jets, and that's the thing. You never know. I'm just going off the position. I'm not going off of how good these players are because I really don't know. But Jets have, I don't know. They got to get it together. 27 pick for the Buccaneers. Jacksonville Jaguars select Devin Lloyd, Utah linebacker. Yeah, because you got to see what Trevor Lawrence is going to be. I still think he could be a good quarterback. I think he had a unfair situation last year. You had to deal with the Tim Tebow. You had to deal with the coaching situation, Urban Meyer situation. His running back, which was from Clemson, like him, the rookie running back from Clemson, got hurt. Travis, I think his name is Travis something. He got hurt, so he's coming back. So there's that because they got their familiarity. Yeah. So I don't think he and then the pressure of being a rookie, man. It was in a really unfair situation. 28 pick Green Bay selects Georgia defensive lineman Devontae Wise. So they select two defensive guys. I guess they're putting their faith in Aaron Rodgers. That Aaron Rodgers will. He's so good at whatever he has, he'll figure it out. They need to get they still need to bring in like a Jarvis Landry or a Odell Beckham or something if they can. New England Patriots from the Chiefs trade. They go Cole Strange, Tennessee, Chattanooga, guard. I never really can't argue. I can't really go against anything Bill Belichick does at this point. I really can't. Look what he did last year as a coach. Yeah, crazy. Once again, Chiefs, number 30. They go George Kalaftis, Purdue, edge rusher. Makes all the sense. That makes all the sense. Defense for them. They picked up some receivers. They picked up two receivers to replace Tyreek Hill. They still got Travis Kelce. They still got the running back who's young. Yeah. Cincinnati Bengals, 31st pick, Michigan, defensive back, Daxton Hill. Makes sense to me. Once again, I'm not an expert, but based on what the Bengals were last year, they didn't really have. That's the thing. They had I think they got some. offensive linemen in free agency. Uh, the defense was good, but they weren't like great, super dominant defense. They just played well at the right time. So yeah, I think it makes all the sense in the world. You know, Joe Burrow and oh boy's gonna probably have another awesome season. They got a good running back. Yeah, man, I like this for the Bengals. I like this. Vikings from the Lions trade Lewis Cannell, Georgia safety. I think the Vikings are going to be. I think this might be a good move for the Vikings. I don't know how good of a position, how good a player he is, but I'm going off the position because the Vikings clearly should be better this year with Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, and Dalvin Cook. They should have a lot better season this year. A lot better season this year, and that's all the picks in the first round. But like when you go over these names, like I've listened to all these announcers and these debaters and these analysts, and none of these guys is really seeming like they're going to be a super difference maker for any of these teams. Like if I had to say anybody might have picked some difference makers for them right now to help them win right now, really win right now, I'm going to say maybe the Kenny Pickett to the Steelers because that's interesting. And then I'm going with like the Chiefs and the Bills, man. Chiefs and the Bills. You know, like the Chiefs had 2 picks in the first round. I mean, they got an edge rusher and a cornerback. What I mean, they say cornerback, quarterback, and pass rushers are the top 3 position players to draft in the NFL, and then wide receivers after that. Because running backs, you can plug running backs in so easier, and their shelf life is so short compared to receivers. So I'm going with the Chiefs. The Bills got a cornerback. I mean, another quarterback, cornerback, and rushers, man. First round, I'm going with the Bills and the Chiefs. Probably the only teams that might have picked players that just really make a difference, and then the Steelers. Because I'm interested to see where Kenny Pickett goes. But I'm not seeing no other. I'm see. Let me see if they got any free agencies. I'm not seeing what the free agents. Let me pull up NFL free agents. I mean, you got Tyrann Matthew still available. Odell Beckham Jr. still available. Jadeveon Clowney still available. Melvin Ingram, Rob Gronkowski still available. And that's the thing. We don't know if he's going to come back to the Bucks or not. But watch out for what if the Chiefs or the Bills pick him up, or just one of those teams that are really right there, like the Chargers or the Bengals or anyone else. Jarvis Landry still available. That's the thing. There's 2 Will Fullers. You still got some receivers still available. Julio Jones. There's still 4 decent wide receivers still available. And Rob Gronkowski at tight end, man. That's crazy. So there's that still. Before I get into this topic of the day, let's get to a word from our sponsor.
You a musician looking for music marketing and promotion? Then look no further than Promo Palace LLC, your one-stop shop for all music promotion services. Services include Spotify playlist pitching, YouTube video promotion, record pool promotion, blog placements, radio airplay promotion, SoundCloud promotion, and much more. With over 2,000 customers and over 10 years of experience in online promotion, Promo Palace LLC is a company you can trust. For more info, please go to promopalace.biz. See you there.
That's right. Check out Promo Palace LLC at promopalace.biz. You need online market promotions, SEO, press releases, social media marketing, Twitter influencers, TikTok influencers, playlist pitching, blog placements, and much, much more. Check us out, Promo Palace LLC at promopalace.biz. Where we at? I'm already 50 minutes into this, so I'm gonna plug this in. It's gonna be actually an hour long, and you know what? We're gonna make this one as quick as possible. Elon Musk buying Twitter. It's really crazy to me, like how the left is going in on this when their idea of free speech is somewhat free speech. Because I heard one of them say, when is free speech too free? Well, hold up now. Like, this is the thing about free speech. People have to realize it can have consequences, but it doesn't mean that you get to prevent somebody from saying it. This is the easiest way I always say it. And maybe I always say it from a sports analogy world. If I want to walk up to Shaquille O'Neal and tell him to go fuck himself, which I never would. I love Shaq to death. Just saying, I'm 5'4", he's 7 foot, huge as hell. If I want to walk him like, go fuck yourself, you big dumb giant, I have the freedom to do that. Now, there's consequences. Like, he could backslap me and be like, be gone, peasant. And I could go flying, across the damn room. But there should be nobody on this planet that gets to dictate any words that come out my mouth, the next person's mouth, the next man's mouth, woman's mouth, transgender's mouth, even non-binary people. Like, I don't agree with anything non-binary people say, but I don't think that they should be prevented from saying it, that somebody should stop them from saying it. If people want to say things that are delusional and not reality, that's on them. Who are we to say what they should say? I mean, that's the thing. And the left is their idea of freedom of speech or free speech is anything. You can only say things that they agree with. So if they don't agree with it, then their idea of freedom of speech is it's not freedom of speech. If they don't agree with it, it's not free speech according to them. And that's the problem I have with this whole Elon Musk with Twitter thing. Because Elon Musk isn't saying he's just going to allow people to harass people and bully people. And all due respect, common sense people, if you're on Twitter and Facebook and somebody's harassing you, you could just block them. You could just block them. And if you're the person who doesn't like what somebody has to say on Twitter or Facebook, then don't follow them. Don't follow them. This idea that you bitching or complaining what somebody got to say, then stop following them. Stop listening to what they have to say. It's the same thing as this podcast. If you don't like what I have to say, then don't listen. Don't listen. I'm not acquired taste for everybody. Because I'm also a hip-hop artist. I am a musician. I say what I feel. And I feel what I say. And I hate to say this, hate speech is also free speech. All speech is free speech. All speech. If somebody calls me a honky and a cracker, they have the freedom to do it. Now, if they get too close to my face and do it, yeah, I'm going to punch them in their mouth. And I might not even do that because, you know why? I'm not solely offended by words. Now, let me take that back. They get all up in my face. Somebody gets all up in my face and talking shit. I'm punching them. But you like over there across the room, you call me a honky and a cracker. Like, that's not going to make me come across the room on you like, what the fuck did you say about me? I'm just going to know that they're real simple-minded, shallow-minded, ignorant fuck. You know? I don't really get, the only word that offends me is when somebody tries to call me a scammer. That's like the most offensive thing you could do in business. Like when customers hit you up and they be like, is this a scam or legit? I hate it. It's like the worst question ever. It's the dumbest question ever. Because if somebody was a scammer, the scammer is not going to sit there and tell you, oh, yeah, I'm a scammer. No, because that's part of being a scam. Or a scammer. Part of the scam is not telling you that they're scamming you. So it's the dumbest question ever is when you ask a company, is this a scam or is this legit? And in the music promotion world, you get it all the time. You get people all the time saying, is this a scam or is this legit? It's so offensive and it's so dumb because a scammer is not going to say, yes, I'm a scammer. And a scammer is always going to say he's legit, So regardless, you're going to get the same answer, whether it's a legit company or it's a scammer company. It doesn't make no sense to even ask that question in the first place. And then it becomes highly offensive to a company that's legit, that does honest business like me. I've had people before assume that I'm a scammer because in the music business promotion world, these artists don't know nothing. They pay you for $5 promotion and think they should get $500 worth of results, or they pay you for $50 worth of promotions and think they should get $5,000 worth of results. It doesn't work that way. Like any business, you get what you pay for. If you want a good burger, a good quality burger, you're going to pay more money for it than your regular old cheap McDonald's and Burger King burger. If you want a real good quality burger, you're going to pay more money for it. Same thing with promotion services or any kind of services. If you want high quality services, you got to pay money for it, So, yeah, man. For all speech is free speech, even hate speech. And I ain't saying people should just blatantly harass you. There is laws to that, but it's no different than protesters going in front of a building and shouting whatever they want to shout. People are allowed to shout what they want to shout, say what they want to say, as long as, follow me, as long as they are willing to accept the consequences. I repeat, you do not get to dictate what anybody says out their mouth, as long as that person is willing to accept the consequences. I mean, if you're a white person, you walk up to a black person and call them the N-word, 90% of the time, you might get knocked the fuck out. You might get swung on. That's the consequences. You walk up to a Hispanic and you call him the racial Hispanic names, you might get knocked out. Italians got racial names for them. Every race has racial slurs that have been made up to use as against them. Every race has racial slurs that are made up for them. And who makes up all the racial slurs every time? I know most people would say probably the white man, but I would argue that the Italian racial slurs were made up by a different race, but that's not really the issue here. The issue is all speech is free speech, whether it's hate speech or whatever. I mean, somebody harasses you, there's consequences. Somebody has hate speech, there could be consequences, but we don't get to tell somebody, you can't say that. It's their mouth. They can say what they want to. It's their life. They could do what they want to, as long as people are willing to face the consequences. And that's the thing. The laws of nature and the laws of man are two different things. So even though I don't agree with the laws of man totally, I don't totally agree with the laws of man whatsoever. Some laws of man I do. Let me tell you, some laws of man I do agree with. Like the murder laws and armed robbery laws and theft laws. Because I'm the type of person that believes that if you're stealing, okay, there's only one reason that's a valid reason to steal, and that's to steal to eat. And if you're robbing like people's houses to steal to eat, that's the wrong approach to me. If you're gonna steal to eat, just steal from the grocery store. That's how I've always looked at it. If you're gonna steal to eat, steal from a convenience store, grocery store, and don't get caught doing it. If you're gonna steal to eat, because the laws of nature would say you can steal to eat, and the laws of nature would say you could kill to eat too. If your hunger and your survival depends on it, the laws of nature is really don't align with the laws of man whatsoever, you know. And that's another thing. And the laws of nature, once again, all speech is free speech in the laws of nature. You just got to be willing to face the consequences. It's just the laws of man that try to dictate every aspect of our life. They want to dictate who you pray to, what you think, what kind of views you have. At some countries, they dictated what you wear. When women had to cover their faces up and stuff like that. You had some country got to wear a turban, I think. You got to follow the exact religion of everybody else. That's the thing. Mankind is always trying to dictate other aspects of mankind's life. And who the hell is mankind to dictate? Nobody gets to dictate really any aspect of any one person's life, as far as I'm concerned. Everybody dictates their lives. It's your life. It's your choice. But under the laws of man, there's consequences, and we just have to be willing to accept the consequences of any of our actions, of any of our choices, of any mistakes that we make. And you got to make mistakes to learn from them. If you don't make mistakes in life, how do you know that it's a mistake? You don't until you make them. But this Elon Musk thing, it just goes to show me that I can never be a Democrat and never side with Democrats, because they clearly don't want but a one view speech, a one mindset speech, a one view mentality and outlook, period. And they're not willing to sit at the table and have a civil debate or civil disagreements. That's one thing I will say. I'm not a Republican either, but the right is more willing to sit down at the table and debate the issues in a civil discourse manner. The left is automatically like, screw your whatever you have to say. You can never change my mind. My mind is totally made up, even if it's not even reality and it's make-believe and fairy tales, imaginary, made-up, bogus bullshit, which I would never, ever go with. I would never go with make-believe, imaginary, fairy tales, made-up bullshit like non-binary. This is my whole problem with non-binary people. At least transgenders are selecting, they're either transgender males or transgender females. They at least understand the idea that you're male or female. You're not neither. And I talked to my neighbor the other day who's he's gay, and we have a very civil conversation about this. And I told him in my mind that gay people are not in the same boat as transgenders and non-binaries. And he says he doesn't put himself in that boat either. He agreed with me that they're not in the same boat, that being gay is an attraction to a physical, mental, emotional, or physical, mental, or emotional attraction to the same sex. One of those has to be in the mix. You have to be either physically attracted, mentally attracted, or emotionally attracted to the same sex. Because all those pretty lined up into the same, because emotional and mental attractions lead to physical attractions anyways. And it's not the same thing, because he even told me that at one point, and I'm not saying his name, I'm not putting his name out there, because this was a private conversation. It's not really even private, because we even talked, other neighbor talked about it too. He basically said at some point that he was thinking about transgendering, transitioning, and he was glad he didn't, because he realized that people try to, if you're a feminine gay, they automatically try to say that you're supposed to be a female. But he realized that's not really the case. That's not necessarily the case. The case is really that he's attracted to men, and it doesn't stop me from talking to him as a neighbor. Every time I see him outside, I talk to him. Do I agree with his lifestyle and his decisions? No, I don't. It's nothing that I would ever accept for my lifestyle, for my life. Would I go hang out with the bar with him or not? No, I wouldn't, because I think I would feel uncomfortable. I would feel like it might send the wrong message, because I feel like people would make assumptions because people make assumptions all the time. Like I just said, there's people that assume that I'm a scammer when I'm not. It's, and every now and then you're going to have this in the music business, because there's so many people in the music business getting scammed that a lot of people they don't trust anybody that's doing music promotion. They think there's some people that think every music promotion company on the planet is a scammer. And there's nothing I can do to change a person's mind that automatically has their mind made up that everybody in one field of business is all the same, which is mathematically, theoretically, and mentally impossible. It's impossible for one group of people. You take 10 people and put them in a room. I don't care the same race, color, creed. They're not all going to be exactly alike. There's going to be differences in interests. Might be music interest or sports interest or movie interest, or it could be some of them might not like music or might not like movies or might not like sports, and some might. I have friends that don't even really pay attention to no sports. They don't care about no sports and no movies. They don't watch hardly no movies and no sports. I'm like, I'm a movie guy. I'm a music guy. I'm a sports guy. I'm an entertainment guy. I like, and I'm a musician myself. I tried to make it as an entertainer and realized that my calling was more of a marketing guy. I totally understand marketing promotions, more than anything, nowadays. And because it's all of marketing promotions is really a simple process. It's really about consistency and persistence and consistency. You got to be persistent and consistent. You got to consistently put out content, and you got to be persistent about it. And you got to put out good content. And you can't just put it out. You got to market it and advertise it consistently and persistently, So, yeah, the Twitter thing is just crazy to me. I'm hoping Elon Musk lives up to what he says. And people thinking on the left that he's just going to let, people just get on there and just – he's not – I'm sure he's going to keep in a lot of these harassment things. You can't just constantly, consistently harass people over and over again, Because I'm not going to lie. There's some people I consistently tweet at. But one of them I consistently tweet at is the number one paid liar in America right now, and that's Jen Psaki. I mean, she gets paid to lie. So, I guess you could say I harass her, but that's the thing. They could block me anytime. And that's the thing. That's normally what I do when people just start to get on my last nerves. They start talking shit, talking smack. I just block them and I try to keep it moving. Even me, the other day I had a dude he got under my skin, and I got to keep telling myself, delete these guys and keep it moving. They can make all the assumptions they want to in the world, but my customers and my steady clients know what kind of business I do. And I wouldn't have my steady customers and clients if I wasn't doing honest business, you know? And that's the thing. Like sometimes people come to you and they pay for services and they don't get the results they expect. But if you're not a marketing expert, how do you know what to expect from any form of marketing promotions if you've never done it before? It's like, for example, YouTube ads. They want all US traffic, right? Most of the time when they're US artists, but they don't realize that US ads cost 5 to 10 more times more than worldwide ads. They don't understand that US ads are less engaging. People in the United States engage way less on social media than countries like the Philippines or India. If you want the most engagement out of your social media, the most engagement, you go for countries like Philippines and India and Brazil, and you go for countries that really, really engage. These people are engaging like crazy. When I run Facebook ads, if I want to get mainly engagement, just engagement, I'm going for the most engaging countries. And I can tell you, United States is at the bottom of the list. So they act like they're freaking experts and don't know nothing about the music business. And that's why sometimes they make assumptions about your character. And people are always going to make assumptions about your character and when they don't personally know you. You know, I've said this before. I've told my friends this numerous of times. I've said this before on podcasts. I've cried over movies before. I can't be all that of an awful scumbag of a human being if I cry over movies. And I take all my clients' budget serious. I try to get the best results out of whatever you give. Even if you give me, you the smallest budget possible, I'm trying to get the best results possible that I can possibly get. And I could go over a whole video breaking down marketing promotions, and then you'll really understand, like, hey, this guy, he gets it. He understands this business. He's not no scammer just trying to take people's money. If that was the case, I'd be living a hell of a lot nicer. A hell of a lot nicer. But I wouldn't be paying a ton of people to help me promote my clients. I'd just be taking the money and not doing nothing if I was a scammer. Because that's what scammers do. But people are always going to assume things, just like the left assuming things about Elon Musk, making assumptions. He's a white supremacist and this, that, and the third. They always make assumptions about your character and never met you a day in their life, never hung out with you a day in their life. One time, one bit, one bit. So yeah, there's that. And we went 1 hour and 14 minutes into this podcast. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. We're gonna go ahead and end it with a Paul Pickett podcast commercial, and we're gonna be out. Boy, the one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and more. Please check me out 3 to 4 days a week on my video podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Rumble. And check out the audio version on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and much more. Peace. See you there. You heard it from the horse's mouth. Paul Pickett Podcast, episode 137. To anybody that watches my podcast and tune in, thank you. Leave the like, the comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. All engagement is good engagement. Even if you want to get on there and shit talk me, I'm not going to sit there and get mad, or whatnot. I might reply, but I'm not going to sit there and delete it or nothing like that. All engagement is good engagement. I don't expect everybody to love me. And because I saw, what was it the other day? Who said it? Diamond Dallas Page is a wrestler. Why all the wrestlers want to be the villains, the heel, as they call them, the villains? Because it's easier to be hated than it is to be loved. It's easier to be hated than it is to love. Peace, and I'm out. Paul Pickett Podcast.